stop storing these 10 foods in the fridge. Cold temperatures are ruining their taste, texture, and even their health benefits. Think your fridge is the best place to keep all your food fresh? Think again. While refrigeration helps preserve many items, there are certain foods that should never go in the fridge. Storing them in cold temperatures can ruin their flavor, texture, and even their nutritional value. Some can become bland and gritty, while others may spoil faster or develop harmful compounds. In this video, we'll uncover 10 common foods you should never refrigerate and explain why improper storage could be costing you freshness, taste, and even health benefits. From potatoes and tomatoes to olive oil and honey, we'll break down the science behind why these foods belong on your countertop or pantry instead of the fridge. Before we get started, I'd love to know, where are you joining me from today? Drop a comment below, and feel free to ask any questions you have. And subscribe if you're new here. Now let's dive in. Before you make another kitchen mistake, stick around and learn how to store your food the right way. Let's dive in. Number 1. Potatoes. Storing potatoes in the refrigerator is a common mistake that can significantly impact their taste, texture, and overall quality. The cold temperature accelerates the conversion of starches into sugars, leading to an unpleasantly sweet and gritty texture when cooked. This can be particularly problematic when frying or baking potatoes at high temperatures, as the increased sugar content reacts to form acrylamide, a chemical compound linked to potential health risks. Acrylamide is considered a carcinogen, meaning long-term exposure could increase the risk of certain cancers, making proper potato storage a crucial health consideration. Beyond taste and safety concerns, refrigeration creates an overly moist environment that encourages spoilage. Excess moisture fosters bacterial growth, leading to a mushy consistency, unpleasant odors, and an overall decrease in quality. Instead, potatoes should be stored in a cool, dark, and well-ventilated space, such as a pantry, cellar, or paper bag, where they can maintain freshness for longer. Proper storage helps retain their natural firmness and flavor while preventing sprouting, which can also degrade their quality. Avoid storing potatoes in plastic bags, as these trap moisture and contribute to faster spoilage. Opt for breathable containers like mesh bags, burlap sacks, or baskets that allow air circulation. Keeping them away from direct sunlight prevents them from turning green due to the production of solanine, a toxic compound that can cause digestive discomfort if consumed in large amounts. Additionally, store potatoes separately from onions, as onions release gases that can accelerate spoilage. By following these simple yet effective storage techniques, you can extend the shelf life of your potatoes, maintain their nutritional value, and enjoy their best taste and texture in your meals. Comment, "No fridge for me," if you'll keep your potatoes out of the refrigerator. Number 2. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are delicate fruits that require careful storage to preserve their rich, juicy flavor and desirable texture. Many people assume that refrigeration extends their freshness, but cold temperatures disrupt the natural enzyme activity responsible for their taste. This enzymatic breakdown results in a bland, less appetizing tomato with a mealy, grainy texture. Since tomatoes continue to ripen after harvest, refrigeration halts this natural process, preventing them from achieving their peak flavor. Another reason refrigeration is harmful to tomatoes is that it reduces the levels of lycopene and other antioxidants, which provide significant health benefits. Lycopene is an important compound known for its role in reducing the risk of heart disease and certain cancers. Storing tomatoes in the fridge diminishes their nutritional potency, making room temperature storage the better option for both taste and health. To keep tomatoes fresh, store them at room temperature, away from direct sunlight, and with the stem side down. The stem area is where moisture loss and bacterial infiltration are most likely to occur, so positioning them this way slows down deterioration. If you have unripe tomatoes, allow them to ripen naturally on the counter before consuming them. If they become overripe and you need to store them for longer, refrigeration can be a last resort, but always bring them back to room temperature before eating to restore some of their original flavor. For those who want to extend the shelf life of ripe tomatoes without refrigeration, placing them in a cool, dark pantry or a paper bag can help. Avoid storing them near ethylene-producing fruits like bananas and apples, as these can accelerate ripening and lead to spoilage. By following these methods, you can ensure that your tomatoes retain their full, delicious taste and nutritional benefits. Comment: room temp is best if you want your tomatoes to stay fresh and flavorful. Number 3. Onions. Onions are a kitchen staple, but storing them incorrectly can lead to unwanted changes in texture, taste, and longevity. Refrigerating onions exposes them to excessive moisture, which can cause them to soften, become slimy, and promote mold growth. Since onions contain natural starches, cold temperatures convert those starches into sugars, making the onions unexpectedly sweet and altering their intended flavor profile. Another major issue with refrigerating onions is their strong odor absorption. Onions have a distinctive aroma that can permeate other foods stored in the fridge, leading to unwanted flavor mixing. This is especially problematic in refrigerators with high moisture levels, as the damp environment encourages sprouting, shortening the onion's shelf life and affecting its texture. The best way to store onions is in a cool, dry, well-ventilated space such as a pantry, cupboard, or basement. They should be kept in breathable containers like mesh bags, paper bags, or open baskets rather than plastic bags, which trap humidity and speed up spoilage. Avoid storing onions near potatoes, as potatoes release moisture and gases that can accelerate the deterioration of onions, causing both to spoil faster. For cut or peeled onions, refrigeration is acceptable but should be done with care. Store them in an airtight container or tightly wrapped in plastic to prevent odor contamination. However, for whole onions, room temperature storage remains the best method to preserve their sharp flavor, firm texture, and longer shelf life. Comment: no more soggy onions, if you're storing yours the right way. Number 4. Garlic. Garlic is another kitchen essential that should not be refrigerated due to the way cold temperatures affect its composition and storage life. Storing garlic in the fridge promotes sprouting, causing it to develop green shoots that impart a bitter taste. Additionally, refrigeration creates a damp environment that can lead to mold growth, reducing the quality and freshness of garlic bulbs. Refrigeration also alters garlic's sugar content, diminishing its signature pungent, savory flavor. The cold encourages the breakdown of its natural compounds, leading to a less potent taste. Since garlic is highly porous, it can absorb odors from surrounding foods in the fridge, which may compromise its original flavor profile. The ideal way to store garlic is in a dry, well-ventilated space at room temperature. A breathable container like a mesh bag, wire basket, or a perforated bowl allows for proper air circulation, preventing moisture buildup and prolonging shelf life. Avoid keeping garlic in plastic bags or sealed containers, as these trap moisture and accelerate spoilage. Once garlic cloves are peeled or chopped, refrigeration can be an option, but it should be stored in an airtight container to prevent odor contamination. If you need to store garlic for a longer period, consider freezing or preserving it in oil. However, be cautious with oil preservation, as it must be stored in the refrigerator and used within a short time to prevent bacterial growth. By following proper garlic storage methods, you can ensure that it retains its potent flavor and remains fresh for extended use in your culinary creations. Comment: garlic needs to breathe if you keep it in a dry, ventilated space. Number 5. Avocados. Unripe avocados should never be refrigerated, as cold temperatures slow down the enzymatic process responsible for ripening. This results in hard, flavorless avocados that take much longer to soften. The reason behind this is that avocados produce ethylene gas, a natural ripening agent that functions optimally at room temperature. When exposed to cold, the ripening process stalls, sometimes permanently, leaving the fruit with an unappetizing texture. Once an avocado is ripe, refrigeration can be used as a short-term solution to slow further ripening, but timing is crucial. If left too long in the fridge, even ripe avocados can develop a watery texture and a slightly rancid taste due to lipid oxidation. If you've already cut into an avocado, proper storage is essential to prevent browning. Exposing the flesh to air accelerates oxidation, causing an unappealing brown layer to form. To mitigate this, store cut avocados in an airtight container, preferably with lemon or lime juice on the exposed surface to preserve freshness. For optimal flavor and texture, avocados should ripen naturally at room temperature. Storing them in a brown paper bag with a banana or apple can speed up ripening due to the ethylene gas these fruits emit. Only refrigerate ripe avocados if you need to extend their usability by a few days. Otherwise, keep them in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. Comment: let it ripen naturally, if you won't rush your avocados in the fridge. Number 6. Bananas. Bananas thrive in warm conditions, and refrigeration disrupts their ripening process. Cold temperatures cause the banana skin to darken prematurely, giving the illusion of overripeness while the inside remains underdeveloped. The chilling injury bananas experience in the fridge affects their ability to convert starch into sugar, resulting in a bland taste and firm, unpleasant texture. The cold environment also affects the cell structure of bananas, leading to a mushy consistency once they return to room temperature. Furthermore, refrigeration can cause condensation to build up on the banana's skin, promoting mold growth. Instead, store bananas at room temperature, preferably hanging from a banana hook to allow air circulation and prevent bruising. If you want to slow the ripening process naturally, separating each banana from the bunch can help. For those with overripe bananas, refrigeration is not the best solution, but freezing can be highly effective. Peel and slice them before freezing for easy use in smoothies, baking, or oatmeal. Another alternative is to mash overripe bananas and store them in an airtight container in the freezer for later use in banana bread or pancakes. Comment: hanging not chilling, if you'll store your bananas at room temp. Number 7. Uncut melons. Whole melons, including watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew, should be kept at room temperature to maintain their sweetness and texture. Cold storage can suppress the natural sugars, making them less flavorful. The reason behind this lies in the continued development of sugars within the fruit after harvest. Refrigerating whole melons halts this natural process, resulting in a less satisfying taste experience. Additionally, storing uncut melons in the fridge can negatively impact their texture. The cold environment causes changes in cell structure, leading to a grainy or mushy consistency. Watermelons in particular can become excessively watery when stored in the fridge for prolonged periods. Scientific studies have also shown that melons stored at room temperature have higher levels of antioxidants compared to refrigerated ones, which means you get more nutrients from melons when they are stored properly. However, once a melon is cut, refrigeration becomes essential to prevent bacterial growth and maintain freshness. Cut melon should be stored in an airtight container in the fridge and consumed within 3 to 4 days for the best taste and safety. To prevent drying out, consider placing plastic wrap directly over the exposed flesh before sealing the container. Comment: sweet and juicy, if you'll let your melons ripen before chilling. Number 8. Bread. Keeping bread in the fridge accelerates staling rather than preventing it. Cold temperatures cause the starch molecules to recrystallize faster, leading to a dry and tough texture. This process, known as retrogradation, occurs even when the bread is kept in plastic wrapping. While refrigeration may slow down mold growth, the trade-off in texture and taste makes it an undesirable storage method. Moisture imbalance is another issue that arises from refrigerating bread. The fridge introduces excess humidity, which can make the crust soggy while the interior becomes overly dry over time. This results in an unpleasant eating experience. If bread is exposed to condensation inside the packaging, it can also encourage mold growth, making it unsafe to consume. The best way to store bread depends on how quickly you plan to eat it. If you consume it within a few days, keeping it in a bread box or a cool, dry pantry is ideal. For longer storage, freezing is a superior alternative to refrigeration. Slice the bread before freezing so you can easily thaw individual pieces as needed. To revive frozen bread, toast or warm it in the oven for a few minutes to restore some of its original texture and flavor. Comment, no fridge, just fresh, if you'll keep your bread soft and delicious. Number 9. Honey. Honey is one of the rare foods that never spoils when stored properly. Thanks to its unique composition, it has a naturally low moisture content and high acidity, creating an environment where bacteria and mold cannot thrive. These properties make honey a natural preservative, allowing it to last indefinitely without the need for refrigeration. However, when honey is placed in the fridge, the cold temperatures accelerate the crystallization process, causing it to become thick, grainy, and difficult to use. Crystallization occurs when glucose molecules separate from the water in honey, forming tiny sugar crystals. While crystallized honey is still safe to eat, its gritty texture can be unappealing, and it becomes harder to scoop or spread. Refrigeration speeds up this process, making honey solidify much faster than it would at room temperature. Additionally, the cold environment can dull honey's delicate floral and sweet flavors, altering its taste over time. To keep honey in its best condition, store it in an airtight container at room temperature, away from direct sunlight and heat sources. A kitchen pantry or cupboard is ideal for maintaining its smooth consistency and rich flavor. If your honey does crystallize, you can easily restore its liquid form by placing the container in warm water and stirring gently until the crystals dissolve. By avoiding refrigeration, you can ensure that your honey remains fresh, pourable, and delicious for years to come. Comment, never in the fridge, if you want smooth, drizzle-ready honey. Number 10. Olive oil. Olive oil is a staple in many kitchens, prized for its rich flavor, versatility, and numerous health benefits. However, storing it in the refrigerator is a mistake that can compromise both its texture and quality. When exposed to cold temperatures, olive oil begins to solidify, forming an unappealing cloudy, waxy consistency. This process does not necessarily ruin the oil, but it makes it more difficult to pour and use, especially when cooking. To return it to its liquid state, you would need to bring it back to room temperature, which can be inconvenient when preparing meals. Another issue with refrigeration is condensation. When olive oil is stored in a cold environment and then exposed to warmer air, moisture can build up inside the bottle. Even small amounts of water can lead to bacterial growth and spoilage, ultimately reducing the oil's shelf life. This is particularly problematic for extra virgin olive oil, which is more delicate than refined versions. Olive oil also has enemies in heat, light, and oxygen. Direct sunlight and high temperatures accelerate oxidation, causing the oil to deteriorate and develop rancid flavors. Instead of refrigerating, the best way to store olive oil is in a cool, dark place, such as a pantry or cupboard, away from stoves and windows. Opt for dark glass bottles or stainless steel containers to further protect it from light exposure. When stored correctly, olive oil can retain its freshness and health benefits for several months, ensuring it enhances your dishes with its natural goodness. Comment, keep it cool, not cold, if you'll store your olive oil the right way. So there you have it, 10 foods that should never go in the fridge. While it may seem like refrigeration keeps everything fresher, sometimes it does more harm than good. From ruining flavors and textures to reducing nutritional value, improper storage could be costing you more than you think. By keeping these foods in the right conditions, you'll preserve their quality, enjoy their best taste, and even extend their shelf life. Which of these surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more food and health tips, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out. So next time you're about to stash your tomatoes, honey, or potatoes in the fridge, think twice. Which of these surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more food and health tips, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.